Hello and welcome to the Nanosecond Media uh, YouTube and Rumble channels for the Cleveland Browns post-game show. I'm Eric,
And I'm Pat.
and let Evan in. Hi, Evan.
You're supposed to
Okay,
say and I'm Evan.
I think he's still getting himself ready. Um, so wow, the Browns pulled it off today, 13-10 against the Steelers. I don't know how they pulled it off. It was miraculous, but they did. I think the play calling was poor, but they they needed to do something better than they did with the play calling, and because they needed to trust uh Dorian a little more than they did.
Well, I'll tell you, the play calling that they were giving him, at least between that and the damn dropped balls, that's that was ridiculous. And
Yeah.
the whole center of that game, after the first half, they really didn't do anything.
Hmm.
And that if you would have had an experienced quarterback in there, that wouldn't have been that way. But I do blame some of it on the play calling. And I'll tell you another thing, those refs were screwing us left and right. There was
Oh,
some
I know.
stuff that was going on that I watched that, that, especially in the beginning of the game where they started with that damn end zone. That there should have been a safety there. There should have been 2 more points.
Yeah. I mean, there should have been two safeties. Like, back-to-back plays, they were stopped,
Yep.
and they didn't. They didn't at all. Uh, they didn't call them, and that's ridiculous. If anybody out there is listening, text us at 234-281-4431 with your reaction, and we will read your
Hello, Evan,
response.
by the way. Evan, are you there?
He is. He is, but he can't hear us. So we'll talk, and I'll try to fix it while we're. Evan, can you hear us? I hear
Oh,
you. Okay. Try logging back in. Oh, you can't hear. Um. Anyway, the Well, I try to get him on board. I I was impressed by Elijah Moore finally.
well,
Um.
DTR really didn't do too bad when he was able to move. If the play calling would have been different, they were trying to keep things conservative for him, and they until that last series, the last series they finally cut him loose and let him do what he was supposed to do. He started throwing complete passes, and they took and pretty much just ran the ball right down the field. If it wouldn't have been so close to the end of the game, you would have seen another touchdown. But
Yeah.
he, a field goal is good enough. I'll take that.
Exactly. You only need to win by one. So, and they did.
Yep.
I'm just I wasn't happy that they didn't try to trust DTR. 1 second for me to try to bring Evan back.
All right, let's try this again. It might help if I actually turn the sound on. Hi.
Hey, that worked.
That. Technology. It's like some of those plays we saw earlier.
Exactly. But I mean, they needed to trust DTR a little bit earlier in the game because the Steelers were able to set. They were able to just set their defenders short and stop the the screen passes easily. If they would have opened up the playbook a little bit and seen what Dorian could maybe do, that would have opened up the offense substantially.
I have a little what if. Did you did you watch anything on the sideline when that game was going on?
A little bit, yeah.
Schwartz was down there cussing his players out. He was stirring them up. He was there was so much energy there. It wasn't even funny. You had what's his name, Bubba Bentrone over there too. He was doing that for for his special teams. Could you imagine having a an offensive coordinator that did the same thing? Could
Yeah,
you
but
imagine? Could you imagine the three of them on that field stirring that team up?
your your
You'd
head
never,
coach your
you'd
head
never
coach is
seen
too
anything
stubborn.
like it. You'd never see anything like it.
Exactly, but your head coach is too stubborn to give up play calling. So, and with that being the case, you'll never see that until Stefanski is fired.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see him fired for a while.
I Well, he has a 5-year contract, so he's in year 4.
I contracts are easy to extend and easy to redo.
Well, the person they really need to get rid of, which we've talked about before, is Paul D. Podesta, and he's the reason they traded. It wasn't Andrew Berry who traded Josh Dobbs. It was
Did
it
you see what
was
that
D.
kid's
Podesta.
doing?
Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Dobbs put in the right situation, man. He's great.
Yeah. Did either of you see him play when he was at Navy? You know,
no.
he held his own. You know, now Navy runs the triple option, which nobody in pro football does these days. But he seemed to manage it real well, and he managed to take Navy to a bowl game at least once. So
Oh yeah, all the military-based schools run the triple option. I don't fully understand why, but they do.
tradition,
So
probably.
that
There,
and talent, maybe that they don't get
Mhm.
the most talented players.
I have
yeah,
noticed that some of the service academies are trying to add a passing game. You know, they're not strictly triple option anymore. I think Air Force has added it, and they have a winning record this year. So we'll see. But
Yeah,
Josh, he knows what he's doing. He definitely knows.
but for D Podesta to be the one to pull off the trade when Andrew Berry and Stefanski want him on the roster, that's pretty sketchy. That he has that much power over the GM on roster moves when he's supposed to be the one making the strategy, not building the roster. That's Andrew Berry.
But should we be surprised by this? I wouldn't, because does anybody remember Mike Holmgren? He was doing some of the same kind of stuff, and with
True.
less results.
That is true.
I'll tell you what. Getting back to this quarterback situation, if you've watched any games at all other than the Browns, you can see that there are two or three really good quarterbacks out there that have just come out of college. C.J. Stroud is one of them. That kid's a miracle worker.
Oh yeah.
and he's taken. I think Houston even won again today. He's playing for the.
Yeah, they did.
Mhm.
He had 259 yards in the first half.
Wow.
That
Wow.
dude's unbelievable.
But
And he doesn't give the ball away. Even better.
No,
I was really impressed with Tomlinson today.
yeah,
He only had one real turnover, and that really wasn't a turnover. If the refs would have been watching that, they would have seen the ball hit the ground on that inter that was it a fumble? Yeah, it was a fumble,
Mhm.
and the guy didn't have control of the ball on the way down, and there was no way that should have been a turnover. But all in all, I think he did. You know, I was getting a little tired of it in the middle of the game, just because you know, there's so much more they could have done. They kept trying to go to Hunt, and every time they went to Hunt, he. If you look at Hunt, he's a round. He's an end around core. He's an end around running back.
Mhm.
He does better if he can bounce up against the line and then get out and run around the corner. He does really well with that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But this crap about just trying to run him up the middle and run him, and he's not. They're looking for him, and he's not going to get anywhere.
no, I agree. They they really need to change the play calling, and it doesn't help that James Hudson was, playing right tackle for most of the game because he is beyond horrible. But what else
I'll
do they
tell you the
have?
one. Tell you what surprised me was seeing that Hayward is still on the Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Mhm.
He should have retired years ago.
I
But
mean,
and
he's been around for like 5, 6 years.
Or longer than that.
a lot longer
Longer
than
than
that.
that. I remember
Hayward played. Hell, he was playing back in the '90s anyway.
early 2000s sometime. Yeah, he was. I remember him at OSU. Yeah, yeah, he's been around a long time.
I was surprised to see him. T.J. Watt didn't do crap as far as I was concerned. My buddy Miles was a lot of the defense here.
What'd you guys think of that non-call about a safety?
Ridiculous.
That was
The,
bullcrap.
Yeah.
there was 2 non-calls
We
back to
started
back plays.
talking about that before you come in,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as that, you know, Stefanski had thrown the red flag, and he in fact he said it on this interview I watched or just listened to.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I wanted a safety." He says, "I threw the flag and nobody picked it up." He says, "So I just picked it up, put it back in my pocket."
Oh, so the refs ignored him?
The refs ignored it. Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were out to screw us on one side and up against the other.
exactly.
We
I
won
mean,
anyway. It's the
yeah.
most important part.
I mean, now we've pulled off 2 miraculous finishes against division teams back-to-back weeks.
Who are we up
That's
against next week?
let me
It's the
check.
Broncos, isn't it?
I think you're right. Yes. And by the way, Cam Hayward was drafted in 2011. So,
Yep.
I thought it was
but
longer than that. Still,
hi-
it's been 13 years, 12.
I mean, his dad was a professional wrestler back in the 90s.
Mhm.
That might be why you've heard the name before, because Ironhead
Yeah.
Hayward was a wrestler.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah. I my phone isn't cooperating with me, so I will get confirm about the Browns and Broncos
Mhm.
for next week.
Well, I can
But
do that.
anyway, yeah, Browns Broncos 4:05 on CBS, I believe.
Oh, so we go there again.
Oh my high.
Oh, it's on Fox. They flexed it. So it's two AFC teams, but it's on Fox this week. So, or this next week.
Mhm.
Interesting. So, but I'm impressed by the Browns defense, but also concerned. The fact
Mhm.
that they were giving up so many big runs to Jalen Warren.
Yeah. Yeah, that 75-yarder, that was a big one. It didn't look like there was anybody even in the zip code, when he made that run.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody even laid a hand on him when he ran for that touchdown. Did anybody
No,
see anything? I didn't.
no,
There was
you're right.
the reason that happened. I watched that play, and I watched the replay of it.
Mhm.
There was two guys over there that were covering him. Both of them were out of place.
Mhm.
They were about a step out of place. If they would have been where they were supposed to be, that would have never happened. I wasn't real impressed with that.
Yeah, they for some reason they were playing Alex Wright, number 91, a lot more than they usually do. I know Miles got poked in the eye beginning of the game, so he was out. But I feel like 91 was in there a lot. Uh, I was very impressed by 93 Shelby Harris. Like he's he's really come on in the last like 4 games. He was a guy that they brought in right at the end of the offseason. The defensive tackle, 93.
We got the Rams next week. All right.
No, it's Broncos next week, Rams following week, and
Okay, yeah,
then
I see that now. We got the Broncos, then we got the Rams, then we got the Jaguars. We should beat them. Then we got Chicago. That'll be a weekend off.
yeah,
Then we got Shroud and the Texans. I'm
concerned.
concerned with that one.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, maybe the Browns can make him look like a rookie quarterback.
Well, he hasn't met Miles Garrett yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then we got the Jets, and then the Bengals is the last game.
Mhm.
hmm
We own the Bengals, so that shouldn't be much.
I'm kind of glad that the Bengals are the last week of the season, uh, unlike usually where it's either Baltimore or Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit. As far as the Cincinnati goes, they're pretty much done.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Uh, that quarterback they got ain't worth a hoot.
well yeah, they're probably going to get in trouble from the league because they didn't originally report Burrow had an injury, and then he ended up tearing his ACL. Right?
No, it's the ligaments in his throwing arm is what we.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
You ought
heard
to
that.
see.
Yeah, it
You
was
ought
his
to seen
fist.
him try to. I watched the game Thursday night.
Yeah,
It
I
was
did too.
they played against the Ravens,
Yeah, on Amazon. Yeah.
and he went to throw a couple of times after he'd gotten hurt, and his whole flipping arm went his whole. Let me turn around so you can see me here. His whole hand went when he went to throw it. It was clear back like this, and
Mhm.
he tried to throw. Oh, it was a mess. There was no way he was going to play.
Mhm.
yeah, that's just that dude's had really bad luck. His rookie season, he blows out his ACL, and
In
then
Cleveland.
oh yeah, it was, and
Yes, it
then
was.
the
I watched that
following
game.
the following year he did make the Super Bowl, but since then he's done nothing. So
Yeah,
he's been an average quarterback.
we're at 7-3 now.
Hmm.
We could end up. Let's see here. We got the Broncos next week. So if they play the way they did today, they'll beat the Broncos.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be 8-3. The Rams, I don't know.
I'd say that's probably going to be another weekend off. Playing the Rams.
Yeah, they are on their third string quarterback.
Okay, that's 9 wins.
Mm-hmm. And we already talked about the Jets. And Pat, I remember what you said a few weeks ago about how you thought how horrible the Browns offense is. If you think that our offense is bad, how about the Jets? I don't think they've scored a touchdown on offense in a month.
They're saying that Rodgers could be back.
Really?
I think it's a stretch, but they're saying Rodgers could be back by the end of the season.
He's throwing.
Yeah.
We could end up 12 or 13 and with 12 or 13 wins from what I'm seeing on that schedule.
That's amazing.
It's somehow with the without Watson or Chubb. Like,
did you see the beginning of the game, Eric? Did you guys watch the beginning?
Yeah.
No.
There wasn't a dry eye in the place.
Mm-hmm.
They had Jimmy Donovan. They didn't show it on TV, but I listened to it on the radio.
That actually came later. There was a quick shot of him. The TV announcers for CBS.
No, that
gave him an on-screen look.
But this is something different, Evan.
Okay.
What he did was they usually have somebody, since it's a rock and roll Hall of Fame town, they have somebody smash a guitar every week week that they're home. And today they gave that honor to Donovan, and he was crying the whole time he did it.
Wow.
And then on top of that, they introduced the Browns, and what they did is they let Nick Chubb come in through the tunnel, and they announced him like he was playing. There wasn't a dry eye in the place. It even got to me, and it was remarkable. But yeah, that was. I think that's probably why they won. All that inspiration. And I'll tell you what else probably made the Browns win. And you can take this to the bank. DTR, DTR. You could hear the chanting when he came on the field. And if that didn't, during the last that last set of plays, the chant was DTR, and I think that inspired him.
Yeah, I would agree. Just showing that the crowd is behind him, I think that really motivated him to get down the field, and I think the crowd believed in him more than his coach did.
Yep.
Just go back to that. I think the crowd supported him more than his coach did.
That may have changed the play calling too. They might. They need to let him have a little more of a. They need to let him play a little more of his own game. I've thought that he would have done better at the Ravens if they did that. But considering he had zero time to get ready for the Ravens, which was a lot different than this time. You're told the morning of the game you're going to play. And you're a hell of a lot better than that damn PJ, what's his name?
PJ Walker.
That guy. I watched some of his throws. He was bunking defensive lineman in the head with the ball when he'd go to throw. He wasn't nothing.
Oh no.
But
I mean,
I still think what you're going to see, because of what they've been auditioning here, you're going to see somebody be brought in. I thought it might have been Flacco, but you're going to see another quarterback brought in, and that's hopefully got a lot more experience. I dislike Flacco completely, but if you're in a pinch, I'd probably take him. What do you think, Ev?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's an accidental Super Bowl winner. The way I see it, it's like Eli Manning. I mean, Eli at least had decent arm. So, but yeah, I'm just amazed that Joe Flacco is available. I thought he was completely retired.
Yeah,
I mean, RG3 said he would come back. So,
yes. So he can hit about the second he steps on the Browns' property, he gets injured and's done for the year again.
hmm
When they first brought him over to Cleveland, there was a cartoon that was floating through the internet because every time he played, he got hurt, and they showed him. They showed the headline of um, RG3 is going to Cleveland, and they showed a progression like 6 frames of him falling down and becoming a puddle of mud. It's funny as hell.
oh yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's the same way with you got several players in this league that do that. OBJ is another one.
Mm,
He's my favorite one to pick on.
I know. Oh,
That
it's
guy is
well documented.
that guy is an injury waiting to happen.
On a side note, I do want to give you credit for something that you called, and it has nothing to do with um the Browns, but I was listening back to one of our prior nanosecond episodes, and you had said something about the merging of the XFL and USFL. Well, you're right that
Uh,
they are
thank you.
going to merge.
Yeah, they're merging. I saw that on the news. Thank
So
you, and you're welcome.
yeah,
You heard
I
it here
was
first, folks.
yep, I was listening back to that episode with Dimitri Ravenos yesterday because that's the last one we have posted on Apple or Apple Podcasts. So I was listening through Alexa, and I'm like,
Where
wow,
is
that
Apple getting that from? Is that getting that from
speaker.
Krieger? I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
start putting stuff over there again.
yeah.
I've started in putting some of the stuff on YouTube just because I can.
hmm
But tonight's show, if we do one, isn't going to be there because I use too much stuff that they don't think is uh, what do I want to call it?
That they
I
think is copyrighted.
and they have um, no
Right.
understanding of the Fair Use Act.
So anybody who listens to this, also go check out Crooked River Radio on YouTube and also on Rumble because we are
And
live right now on both of those
also
platforms.
check out
So,
the crookedriverradio.com.
oh yeah,
And if you're an amateur radio operator, check out Crooked River Amateur Radio Club.org. You'll maybe you want to join us. We're a new club that just started up here January or July 18th of this year, and we're making strides and ready to go big time.
Do you want to tell everybody where we can, all other than Crooked River Radio, what apps, or crookedriverradio.com, what apps you can listen to Crooked River Radio on?
We use you can get us on Alexa. You can get our podcasts on Twitter, Twitch, uh, what else
Rumble.
can Rumbles Live.
Did you say Twitch?
Yeah, I said Twitter and Twitch. Yeah,
Okay.
and of course Facebook Live. I thought there was 8. There's 8 of them total.
D Live, and the other European one or whatever.
Yeah, FC2.
But then also you can get the station on Live 365 app.
Or you can tell
Radio
Alexa
Guardian.
if
Yeah.
you install the Live 365 app on Alexa, you can tell her or tell Alexa to play play Crooked River Radio Network on Live 365, and it'll turn it on. We do a mix of music from the 60s through the 90s. I'm about to add some more because there's some stuff there that I've heard that I want to put on. I just got to get the time to do it. But
Are you gonna add songs from the 2000s too?
yes,
I know we talked about that.
that stuff is coming. Yes, I just got to
Okay.
get the time to get there.
And we have a partnership with, since we already have everything hammered out, we are also partnering with Wolf Rock Radio and we're gonna have the Radioactive show 7:30 to 9 every Sunday, simulcast over on Wolf Rock Radio. So
Yep.
Tune in either there or on crookedriverradio.com. So other than that, I think when it comes to Browns, I think we're good. I know, Pat, you said you had a limited time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get off of here.
Evan, do you have a few minutes to talk about the Ohio State game, or
Sure.
do you got to go too?
I'm fine. Yeah, we can go as long as you like.
Ohio
cool.
State. What are you going to talk about Ohio State?
Well, the lack of trust that I see that Ryan Day has in Kyle McCord, or the fact he doesn't like Kyle McCord, because why would he not have taken a knee at the end of the half and risked getting Kyle McCord hurt, which he was able to play after, but I don't think he was really the same because he messed up his leg.
I think you're going to take I don't think you've seen everything that Day can do with the Ohio State football team. I think this next week with that team up north is going to be a real eye opener when it comes to. I'm hoping they win, but we'll see. Anyway, I got to get off of here.
Okay.
I will let you guys go. I'll let you know what's happening here in about 10 minutes as soon as I discuss this.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Have a good afternoon, gentlemen.
You too.
Thanks for
Thank you
inviting
for
me in
joining.
here.
No problem. Anytime.
Take care, guys.
Okay, so what's your take kind of on that, Evan? Like with Ohio State, and what was your take on that play at the end of the half instead of kneeling where Day went for a throw and McCord hurt his leg?
I wasn't very fond of that. I think typically the kneel down is just to keep the clock running and
Mhm.
burn it up. I think that would have been the smart play. We had a pretty healthy lead, before the half anyway.
Mhm.
Minnesota wasn't doing anything offensively. I think it would have just been smart to take the knee and go into the locker room. Yeah, why risk injury? I mean, there has to be a method to the madness. If you're going to do something exotic, you need to be able to come back later and say, if it didn't work, well, why did you try that? Well, we thought that the personnel grouping we had would allow us to do this. And I didn't really see anything like that, with that
No,
final
and
play of the first half.
you can't say, "Oh, we just needed to get him extra reps to get him ready for
No,
Michigan."
he's doing
No.
plenty of that.
Well, that and it's the end of the half. Michigan would have taken a knee.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think
like,
most teams would have done that too.
yeah,
That's an
anybody
odd
with a brain would.
That's just an odd decision to
Yeah.
pursue that. So that's my take on that goofy play that happened at the end of the first half.
It was just. It was also surprising they didn't use Marvin Harrison as much.
Yeah, I know Minnesota supposedly has a really good defense, but he's been terrorizing every other team that we've faced this season.
Yeah.
Give him some street credibility with the Heisman voters. Good grief.
Exactly. Instead of shorting him,
Yeah,
not like it's gonna affect his draft status or anything,
exactly.
but at the same time, like eh, for a receiver to even be in the running or in conversation for the Heisman is amazing in itself. So
Yeah, it is. I was trying to remember the last wide receiver that won, and I heard it here. I don't have that.
Devontae Smith,
Devontae Smith, and when was that?
uh,
Do you have it in front of you?
3-4 years ago,
Okay,
it
I mean, it doesn't happen very often.
no,
You
it
never know.
was he just because that was his last year in college, and did didn't he entered the draft not too long ago.
Mhm.
So let's see. Entered. He's a wide receiver for Philadelphia.
Okay.
He entered in 2021.
Okay.
So he was drafted in 2021. So the 2020 season for college was his final season with Alabama, and he won the Heisman.
Yeah. Rightly so. Rightly so. Interesting.
Okay. Sorry, I thought the stream froze for a second. But anyway. Yeah, I think. Do you have any other points? Because I think we can wrap up.
I'm done. Yeah, I think we can close up shop today.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining, Evan.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you're up for next week, like willing to do next week, I should say, let me know because I'm gonna try to do this every week. So.
Okay.
So for those who listen, thank you for listening, and we will probably be on next week, and I'll probably be live again sometime this week with some type of show. I don't know what yet, but I will be on and we will be live. You can always communicate with the show in the chats or via text 234-281-4431. Have a good one, everyone.